They're called presidential advisors or cabinet agency deputies, but critics call them czars. Presidential appointees who carry a great deal of clout in an administration. President Obama has appointed some 40 czars, more than any other president. They're controversial because not all have to be confirmed by the U.S. Senate, and they're not subject to congressional oversight. Author Robert Knight has written a new book about the czars called Radical Rulers, the White House elites who are pushing America towards socialism. And he joins us now from Washington. Robert, all presidents have had these types of czars in their administrations. Why are you concerned about the ones President Obama has appointed? Is it the number of them along with their viewpoints they represent?
I'd say both. You're right, Lee, that we've never seen so many czars appointed. Some of them are legitimate. Some of them are deputy attorney generals and that sort of thing. But the people that are filling the seats are what concerns me and why I wrote Radical Rulers. These are the most radical appointees in history. They make past administrations, even the very liberal ones, look mild by comparison. For instance, you've got as science czar John Holdren, who wrote a book in the 70s in which he advocated floating the idea of putting birth control agents in public drinking water and having abortions mandatory for some women, all in the name of population control to save the planet.
Well, let's talk about one other, Cass Sunstein, the regulatory czar. What is your concern there?
Oh, he's got a long track record from the University of Chicago and then Harvard. Probably the most controversial thing he said is that animals deserve the right to sue human beings. So he says that animals ought to have the right to have attorneys appointed to represent them in court. He also thinks marriage laws ought to be wiped away so that any relationship can be recognized equally, that people don't have rights to bear arms, and that most people should become vegetarians.
Amazing. I'd like to see that courtroom scene with the animal there, too, by the way. Kevin Jennings is the so-called safe school czar. What's the issue with him?
That's the most shocking appointment of all. This is the Office of Safe and Drug-Free Schools at the Department of Education. Kevin Jennings is founder of GLSEN, the gay and lesbian teachers group that's been promoting homosexuality in schools since 1995. Jennings' group has a book list, many of whose titles include, well, titles I can't even share here, but they have scenes between adults and kids, very graphic sexual stuff. And at least 2 GLSEN-sponsored conferences, pamphlets were handed out that are so explicit and so perverse and dangerous that I can't describe them here. And he's in charge of safe schools.
Yeah, and in just the last 20 seconds we have here, let's talk about Mark Lloyd, the FCC's diversity czar, who has some interesting plans when it comes to talk radio, right?
Yeah, in 2007, he co-wrote a report that basically said we've got to muzzle conservative talk radio in the name of free speech. And now he's the diversity czar at the Federal Communications Commission. He's in the position to do just that. He's also has many other radical ties that are explained in the book. But these are just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, it's fascinating. We appreciate you writing about it and sharing your thoughts. Bob Knight, and the book is called Radical Rulers, and you can find out more about it on our website at cbnnews.com.
Up next, why the Jerusalem mayor